Hello everyone and welcome back to RPG PhD, the channel where we dig deep into the theory and practice of tabletop role-playing games. I'm Dr. Ben and today we're diving into the myth of the main character. In the world of television, film, and novels, it's easy to identify the protagonist, the character whose arc defines the story, whose decisions shape the plot, and whose name appears first in the credits. But in tabletop role-playing games, that idea can be misleading. Role-playing games, by and large, are collaborative by nature. There is no main character, or at least there shouldn't be, and yet many groups, intentionally or not, fall into the gravitational pull of a single character narrative. In this episode of RPG PhD, we're taking a closer look at what happens when a tabletop game starts treating one player like the star of the show. We'll explore the difference between role-playing game storytelling and linear narrative forms, examine why main character energy can be both compelling and corrosive, and offer strategies for game masters and players to foster true ensemble storytelling, where every voice matters and every arc feels vital. To support ensemble dynamics at the table, game masters can employ a variety of techniques, some mechanical, others narrative or structural in nature. The first is rotating spotlights. The simplest method is to consciously rotate the narrative spotlight from player to player. Just as a TV show would structure episodes around different characters, a game master can organize sessions to feature individual backstories, interpersonal arcs, or moments of character growth. This works particularly well in campaigns with serialized structures or adventure of the week sorts of pacing. Game masters should take notes or be aware during gameplay about unresolved character goals, seeds for future drama, or relationships that feel unexplored. Tracking spotlight balance over time helps ensure that no one player becomes the de facto lead, even unintentionally. Shared world building. Games like Fate Core, Beyond the Wall, or The Quiet Year offer mechanics for collaborative world building, letting players shape elements of the setting that relate to their character's backstory or culture. This gives every character a kind of narrative gravity. Their experiences are not merely inserted into the world, but they're part of what defines it. When the world responds to your choices, it feels like your story. Even in traditional games like D&D, asking players to invent a guild, define a family member, or name a landmark in their hometown creates anchor points for future narrative development. Interconnected backstories. One of the most effective ways to decentralize narrative focus is to create narrative overlap between player characters. Encourage players to link backstories during session 0. Were two of them raised in the same monastery? Did one save the other's life in a border skirmish? Are they ex-lovers, reluctant allies, or old rivals? Games like Smallville formalize this in character creation by drawing relational maps between player characters and non-player characters, complete with emotional weights and conflicting values. This creates a narrative web rather than a hero's journey. Ensemble level stakes. Game masters can build story arcs that target the party as a whole rather than individual goals. For instance, if the group forms a thieves guild, the story becomes about the guild's survival and expansion. In Blades in the Dark, this is built into the system. The crew's progress is tracked as a unit, giving every player a vested interest in its fate. Even when personal arcs emerge, anchoring them in shared goals, we need you to face your past because it's connected to the warlord threatening the city, keeps the ensemble at the center of the drama. Responsive worlds. Narrative gravity increases when the world responds to the ensemble's actions, not just to one character's drama. If the bard's ballad inspires a rebellion, the rogue's heist reverberates through the economy, and the cleric's sermon shifts public opinion. Then each character's contributions matter. Emergent storytelling thrives when the consequences of group choices reshape the fictional world. Cities fall, alliances crumble, ideologies clash. This makes everyone feel like a protagonist in their own right. In many games, the GM holds the most narrative control at the table, and thus bears responsibility for equitable engagement. This doesn't mean flattening all characters into uniformity, but it does mean designing space for each character's arc to matter. Some strategies include scene framing. Ask yourself whose voice hasn't been heard recently and build the next scene around them. Open questions. Use apocalypse world style prompts. Who do you know here? Or what does this place remind you of? This helps to weave character perspective into the narrative fabric. Adjusting pace. Not every player thrives in the same style of spotlight. Some prefer slow burn arcs or supporting roles. Recognizing this and validating those playstyles is key to authentic ensemble play. Mechanics that reward interaction. Games like Monster Hearts reward players for engaging others through strings and emotional leverage, mechanically reinforcing the interconnectedness of the cast. Inevitably, some players will gravitate towards the spotlight, either due to experience, charisma, or simply playstyle. This isn't inherently a problem unless it displaces other players. If one character is dominating the narrative, consider the following interventions. Talk to them out of game. Frame the conversation as collaborative. I love how much you bring to the table. Can we find ways to help others shine too? Design scenes that don't rely on their abilities or relationships, forcing the group to look to other characters. Temporarily split the party, but give the quieter players the more consequential arc. Let them carry the A-plot, as it were. Use mechanics like fellowships, bonds, or masks, team moves, this sort of thing, to explicitly link narrative resolution to cooperation. When done right, even main character types can be powerful ensemble players, offering strong emotional arcs that elevate others around them. Ensemble play asks us to reframe what makes a story compelling. It's not the lone hero slaying the dragon, it's the messy, overlapping, contradictory, and collaborative journeys of flawed people learning to coexist. In his book Hamlet's Hit Points, Robin Law argues that role-playing isn't about perfectly structured drama, it's about modulating beats of hope and fear across a session. Ensemble play spreads that modulation across multiple arcs, meaning everyone can drive tension, catharsis, and surprise. When players feel their presence matters, when they see their choices ripple through the story, when they collaborate in each other's arcs, that's when the myth of the main character dissolves and a truer kind of storytelling emerges. So, next time you're at the table and the rogue starts cracking jokes while the warlock monologues about fate, take a breath and think about how those threads might braid together. Because in tabletop role-playing games, the best stories aren't told by one voice, they're built by the whole chorus. If you like this video or found it useful, please like and subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments and tell us about your favorite ensemble moment in a campaign. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.